Hello, this is Marion Penna coming to you from seemstobeso.com. Today I want to talk to you about what you can do when you run into a problem when drawing blocks where you have a lot of different intersections crossing each other and you have to make a cover for them all. What happens here is I often am creating sometimes complicated blocks, and the intersections can become almost very difficult, especially when you have an image behind you and you're tracing from that image. It's very hard to tell what to do next. I'm kind of just what's that word I'm looking for, where I'm just kind of playing off of what I have. I've drawn some shapes here in EQ. I don't have an image behind me, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and add a circle into this area. Now, it would be pretty easy to just take at this point and add a circle, because I could just come up here like this and cover it. But what I want to do is kind of different in this respect. Is I want to show you what I do when I do run into these intersections, and it's very hard, especially when they're so close in that you can't see what it is you're trying to draw on to get it covered up well. Excuse me, I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to try and do this kind of by itself. So essentially speaking, what I've done here is, in order to help me find the exact area I need to be to kind of cover my shape into this part, I have created some on-screen rulers that I'm going to set in place that will allow me to know where I need to set the drawn objects at. This is not something you would normally do when you're working with this kind of thing, and this is not what this tip is meant for, but it's just to help me to draw the shape into place. So what I do when I have this problem, and this was crazy because my roller's going to disappear now, is I take and I select the entire design area, and sometimes it could be the entire block that I've just created, and I move it out of the way. Ooh, I'm going to set this down, and I'm going to go backwards because I've obviously not got the whole thing, and it is important that you get everything covered in your selection, because while it's okay, I guess, to have some things stay put, if you have them lined up on an image, it makes it really difficult to put it all back into place. So it's much easier to move it all back into shape once you have, when you do the whole block versus just taking out a few sections. If you just have a few sections that you're worrying about, you could just move those sections by itself so you can clear up that area to draw the shape. But it's really up to you. You just have to remember that when you're putting them all back, you have to line it up with your image and where those drawn lines might be, so that you make sure you have all your applique shapes covered and overlapping properly. So anyway, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move these all out of place. It obviously does not want to move my... Oh, it did move them. Okay. Sorry about that. Getting a little crazy here. So anyway, I'm just going to kind of draw a basic... what is going on with my... I wonder if there's an option to make it stay in place. No, that's not good. So we'll try and line it up with, I need it on the 6, and I need it at the 5. Down here I need it at the 7.5 and at the 9. So I'm just kind of winging this. Sorry. I should have put an image in here and just drawn something, but I guess that's what I'm going to do. I'll just remake this video. I'll be back in just as a little note. I did get everything back into place, and as you can see here, it does cover everything up. So what you could do at this point is you could just then take and reshape your part. Now see, this is where it gets difficult because you're going to run into all these lines, and that's where you don't want to put this in until you do have it all shaped and put together and such. I am going to stop at this point and make a drawn object to show you what I mean in a better way. Okay, I have here a block I drew a few days ago where I was changing these leaves out. I didn't think they really looked fallish enough to me, so I wanted to draw more of an oak type leaf where it had some points and a little bit of more dimension, and then put the mushrooms over it. What you can see here, even if I had these shapes, I still would have had the same problem. So when I went to add the mushroom caps, there's so much going on in here that I ran into the issue of not really being able to properly add these lines, and even now I can't even highlight it enough to move it out of the way unless I move the whole thing out of the way, which I just really don't want to do because it took me a long time to draw this out. So I'm just going to try and just describe it here. But what I did is when I did this, I took and I highlighted the entire block, and you could also do a Control A on your keyboard, which will also select the entire block, and I moved it out of the way so that what I could do is just draw the mushroom cap. I don't know if I can do that now or not. As you can see, I could. So I just drew the mushroom caps at this point and little spots on both, and then I added them to the block, and that was that. And it was just really easy to get that done within a minute or so. So I just wanted to show you what I do when I have this happen. And when you go back to put them back in place, you just select the entire area again, and you in my case I could just click undo and put it back, but you just want to try and line it up the best way you can. You may have a few little problems occur, but for the most part you should be able to line it right back up with no problem at all. As you can see, I have pretty much lined this up the way it was before, and this is usually not something I can do so easily, but it is in good shape and the drawing is done. So if you wait and do that, if you were to do your shape very last, then it's not so easy because you don't really have to get it totally lined up. You just have to get it lined up enough where you could move the mushroom caps into place or move your shape into place to get it to work out, and you really wouldn't have to worry so much about making sure you get it set in place. Anyway, that's what I do when I run into the issue. I'm hoping Electric Quilt will eventually add the ability to hide objects while we work on other parts. I put my request in for that, so it's a thought anyway. You never know, it might happen. So I hope you enjoy this tip. I hope you can find some use for it at some point, and I hope you have a great day. We'll see you soon.